Hi, this is David Taylor, and welcome to Writing 394. Your first assignment in this course is the communication analysis. Now in this video, we're going to look first at the assignment directions. We're going to analyze them closely to see exactly what is due in each of the 4 parts of the paper. Then, after we're all on the same page, we're going to look at a sample student submission. This student submission was written by someone who read the same assignment directions as you see here and wrote an excellent paper in response. So excellent that we can use it as a model. So at the end, you should have a very clear idea of exactly what should be in the paper and a sample model paper for you to look at so that you can format yours in the same way. Okay, let's get started by looking at the assignment directions. Communication Inhibitors Analysis, Project 1. This first writing assignment is about communication barriers in your workplace or community. Now this note gives you a heads up that the topic that you find for this paper may actually be an excellent topic for your final research-based report. So be on the lookout for that, and this sample paper was chosen with that in mind. You'll see how a topic chosen for this first paper could actually work out to be a good one for that project number 4, the final research-based report. Okay, let's take a look at part 1 of these assignment directions. Now during the first week of the course, you're going to collect real-life examples of barriers to any kind of communication that occurs in your work environment or community. Now these communications can be from documents, conversations, either real ones or digital, and emails or meetings. After you've collected them, you're going to write 1 or 2 detailed paragraphs that describe this workplace or community setting that you're analyzing, the types of communication in that setting that you personally are involved with, and any other relevant details. Now, you're going to find a very long list here of particular types of communication inhibitors. And they are the ones that are found in the 4 articles discussed in your e-reserves. So what you should do is to first read through those articles in the e-reserves and become generally familiar with these inhibitors to communication or barriers to communication. And once you have a general understanding of them, you're not going to have any problem whatsoever identifying them as they happen in your workplace or environment. After you've collected those communication examples, what you want to do is to make sure that you have identified them correctly with the particular name of the inhibitor or barrier. Then you want to provide your own general definition of each one, and you're going to be doing that in a bullet list. What do we mean by a general definition? It's one that provides general characteristics without specific reference to your workplace or your environment. In other words, a kind of dictionary definition. And we're going to see more about how that works when we look at the sample paper in just a moment. Part 3 of the directions. Analyze those communication samples that you collected. The analysis will take place in a table with 3 columns. The left column, you give the communication example either as a quote or a paraphrase or a summary of it. Then in the middle column is the name of that inhibitor or that barrier. And there might be more than one inhibitor or barrier at work at any given sample. On the right-hand side, you write out in your own words why you think it is that inhibitor or that barrier that was at work in that communication attempt. Again, looking at the model paper is going to help make this much more clear. Now, the last part is part 4. And in part 4 of this paper, you're going to use a scale of 1 to 100, with 75 in the middle or average, to rank your organization's communication effectiveness. After you've done that, you then need to devote a couple of paragraphs to justify or explain the score that you award. Okay, let's take a look now at this sample paper. It is by Barry Hillman, which is a fictitious name. You see up top, right in the middle, a title, Communication Analysis. And then underneath it, in smaller type, is a series of subheadings. Part 1, background information. Part 2, communication inhibitors. Part 3, the actual incidents. And then Part 4, the evaluation. So you see, Barry has used subheadings to divide his paper into the exact 4 sections that were outlined for you in the assignment requirements. And again, notice all subheadings are formatted exactly the same. Okay, let's read this section on background information. Barry writes, I work with an information technology IT department in Brunswick, Maine. Again, this is fictitious. We maintain a network that serves several sites within the city. The maintenance includes running network cables, repairing computers, installing software, and removing viruses. The scope, location, and variety of our work require that we be organized and that we communicate effectively via emails, live chat modules, instant messages, and even phone conversations. So as you see in this background context, Barry is telling us the kind of company he works for, and especially the kinds of communication that he is responsible for and that take place within this company. Next paragraph. I've noticed several attempts to communicate at work which have resulted in misunderstandings that impacted either the effectiveness of the IT department or the opinions of others about the IT department. Although most of the problems involved only members of the IT department, there were instances which involved communications between the personnel in the IT department and other departments. Again, some essential background information. He's telling us all the people who were involved in the communications that he is reviewing. Let's go to part 2, bullet list of communication inhibitors or barriers. You can call them either thing. Let's notice a few things about Barry's list. First, he's doing only 4, and that's fine. You'll get full credit if you do only 4. Second, it is indeed a bullet list. It doesn't matter what kind of bullet that you use, just that you use a bulleted type list or unordered list. 3, notice that each of the communication inhibitors or barriers has a name, and that name is somehow formatted to stand out. Audience expectations is italicized. Next, let's notice the definitions. Remember, we're supposed to be giving generalized dictionary-type definitions. So, Barry's definition of audience expectations is, they result when the message that is sent differs from the message that is expected by the audience, possibly causing confusion or resentment. Notice here that in this definition, it could be any message and any audience. Therefore, it is considered a general or dictionary-type definition.